course, that always happens.
Every time. You know it.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Collectives. I'm one of your hosts, Son, and I'm here with
Sierra.
and it's been a minute.
It's been a very long minute.
How's everything?
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Um, I've been like kind of holding on to some things just because I'm a private person and I kind of didn't want everybody in my business. But out of all my platforms that I have, I felt like this would be the platform that I trust to actually talk about, some of the stuff that I've been going through.
Good.
So, yeah. But before we get into that, how have you been doing?
I've been cool. Just been trying to just grow, honestly. Um, I look at growing as something honestly now you kind of have to do just because if you want to get different things, accomplish different things, just want different things for your life, it's just that you have to really embrace growing. And even before I can say like I wanted different things, but it's like different isn't being intentional about it. So my intentionality and things have been different.
Okay. Anything specific?
No, not specific, just in all areas of life, just kind of mostly like just growth in God and everything. Because with my job, it's like I'm pretty much younger than most of the people who I work with,
Of course.
and most of the people who I am entrusted to. So it's almost like you have to have a certain level of maturity to even be able to kind of speak to some of the things that other people may be going through.
That's
So
true.
that it just I say encompass like all areas of life, just trying to grow, be more mature about things, realize my own faults, realize like what I'm good at too, and yeah, just be intentional about growing.
Okay. That's good. I mean, I feel like that's how you have to live life is with intentionality. Either that or it's never going to get done. Whatever you are trying to do or you envision yourself to do, it just won't happen if you don't. So, yeah, applying yourself definitely pays off.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been doing that so far. I think your phone. Let me see,
I turned mine down. So,
because mine is all the way down. Okay, maybe that's better. Where's that coming? I don't know where it's coming from, but oh well.
I can hear it off of my phone, but
Because my volume is all the way
my
down.
volume is all the way down too. I can't go no further.
All right, we'll just deal with it.
It's always
All
been
right.
that way. I don't know. But I don't know. I just been kind of like holding on to some information about my family, my life that I kind of want to get off my chest. But it's just like one of those sensitive topics where it's like serious, so it's like you kind of don't want to share with the world, but at the same time, I feel like because I have my platforms and everything, and you'll see me doing like fashion, taking pictures, and all of that stuff. Like you probably look at me and think like, oh yeah, she's good, like she cute, whatever. But like little bit, like I really been going through it. So I feel like this is a platform to talk about it. So this is, Mental Health Awareness Month, and
Oh, it is.
that's another reason why I kind of felt like it was, important to talk about mental health. Um, so my sister is, she's dealing with severe mental illness. She's my baby sister, and she's in her mid 20s, and she just got diagnosed like a couple years ago, and um, that was a devastating blow. We talked about it on the collective, but we didn't really talk about it in detail or what it was. I just kind of glossed over it just because I couldn't bring myself to put her information out there like that. But so fast forward to this year, we're at a place now where she's like a legit missing person, and we haven't seen her since like April, like the second week of April. Um, and it's just been crazy because I never thought that this would be my life. You know what I'm saying? Like you see stuff like this on TV, but you never like think like, somebody in your family is going to be missing, you know, so it's a lot to kind of like digest, and I have to like really, uh, I have to kind of, what's the word? Like I have to kind of separate myself from the situation in a sense, because if I don't, then I probably would be like in a severe depression. You know what I mean? Like I have to like really like focus on other things, and even focusing on other things, you still think about the person. You know what I mean? And being a young woman, it's like so many things that can happen to you. And so, you have to fight those thoughts like, well, what if she's this? And what if this happened to her? And it's like even having dreams about her, where I'm actually talking to her and I'm like, where are you? And she's like, staring back at me, or, she finally answers, but, it's not her. It's not her in the flesh. It's her, I'm thinking in the spirit, or, you know, um, just me dreaming, So it's been very hard. So I don't know. I just feel like even with the whole suicide rate, suicide has been like a topic that people have been talking about, recently. And I kind of feel like you kind of you have to empathize with people, because you just never know what's really going on with them. You never know, like you could see a person and you can think that they're okay, but they're not. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this about me. I'm just saying, like, regarding mental illness, mental health, you just never know, like, what somebody's going through. So, never say to yourself, like, oh, I wish I had their life. I wish that, my life was like that, because you just never know. Like, you never know what's really going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, and it's like you never know what's going on in their life that may break you. So you never know, and it's probably for a good reason too. But then at the same time, it's like I guess like what you said about being empathetic is you need to really be like that towards everybody, because we never know what someone else may be going through, and especially nowadays, it's easy to hide behind a smile.
Right.
Like I know even that's kind of like a lot of my story of thinking everything's okay until it's almost like no, the walls are closing in. So now it's kind of like um, fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to figure out like what to do next. When I figure like a lot of people who endure suicide or go through suicide thoughts, maybe it's just mental illness in general. It's almost like you have too many questions and not enough answers.
Yeah. And I honestly, the reason why I empathize with people like that who have done it or who have considered it is just because life is hard. Like, like, and it's almost like I kind of feel like those people who say, have you ever heard people say, well, God gives his strongest battles, or his toughest battles, to his strongest people, or whatever. I just don't really believe in that. I just feel like it's almost like a slap in the face for me to hear that, to hear somebody say that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't think that's necessarily true. And not only that, but like, it's not about how strong you are. It's about how strong God is in your situation, and how much you trust him, how much you are leaning into him, how much you are like really dependent on him. Because, you know, if I'd be truthful, like he's the only reason why I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for God, like I don't know where I would be. So yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure out, because I know like what you said, because I don't think that's the verse like at all. But then also I was thinking about how people say God would not place on you more than you can bear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking that up. I'm like, I don't think that's verse 2. Well, actually, no, it is. So it's correctly. It has to be correctly used. It's He would not let you be tempted more than you can bear, but not place more on you than you can bear though. But I think even like while you were talking, I kind of got like the image of, you know how like when cheerleaders they'll build like a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that. Even though we may have the um, I guess the burden of trying to keep people up sometimes. It's like we're never on the bottom of the pyramid though, because God is always supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really the image I got there. Because if you really look at it, it's true. Like I don't necessarily have a place. Well, if I do fall, like I'm falling into the hands of God. So even if like I've been like put in a position to try to help someone else or support someone else, it's almost like God is always there to support me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes it don't feel like it though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like sometimes I'd be like, Lord, I know you did this for me. I know I prayed for this and I know you came through for me. But right now I don't feel your presence. I don't feel, you know, it's almost like it's like really like it like not knowing where your loved one is really like walking by faith and not by sight because you have absolutely no idea like anything. Like you don't have any information. Like so it's just like trying to not focus on what's happening. But like I said, I kind of feel like, a liar in a sense because, if a person were to watch me on social media or, you know, watch me on YouTube or whatever, they don't know, you know what I mean? But it's not because I'm trying to like fake or front, you know what I'm saying? It's just that I just don't know how to say that. Like, how do you say like, yo, my sister is missing and we don't know where she is? Like, how do you say that? So I just feel like this was and I'm trying not to cry, but I kind of feel like this was the platform to actually say it.
Yeah. I think you just have to honestly, to me, embrace all your feelings, like no matter how good or bad, it's because that's what to me what's going to be real to you. Because like, of course, I'm not in your shoes. I wasn't put to kind of walk in your shoes, but then at the same time, I think this is really to me like what honestly what God wants for us is
You got some
really to be.
tissues on? I'm just saying. Girl is like over here, just like
I wish I did. I got some in my car.
in the car. In the car.
Let's see. I can't. Where is
A true man, no tissues, just all masculinity in office.
you are completely right. I can grab some of my car real quick.
No, it's
But
okay.
you sure?
That's okay. I'm not gonna cry no more.
Are you
That's
sure?
it. Y'all get these little tears right here, and that's it.
No, you probably don't want that.
No, probably not.
Huh.
I don't know what's in there. I'll take it.
Okay.
Has it been used?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yes. Sorry. No. Yeah. No tissue. On hand. Um.
next time you
mm,
know.
I got you. Yeah. But yeah. I feel like in situations that you're in, it's like you never want to like to me discount anybody's feelings just because they're not yours. But then at the same time, it's like we're kind of placed around people to kind of be there for them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like even like with family and everything. What I've been learning is, family has never been like since the beginning of time. Like even just as far as like how we want to see family, like, they're supposed to be like our greatest support system and everything. And it's like since day one, families have messed up. You look at Adam and Eve, just between how they were in perfect harmony with God until they wasn't. Then Cain and this is our first like introduction to family. And Cain is killing his brother. So
Right.
just as far as anything like family, like I like to for me, like I like to break up that idea of like everything's supposed to be perfect or anything like that, just because it just hasn't been. But then at the same time, it's like what I've been learning is even though you may not see God, it's almost like I can turn my head to the left. He's really right behind me. Or I can turn my head to the right. He's right behind me. Just because he's just been in so many different situations. Honestly, that's kind of why I wanted to talk about like passing the test, because it's like it's just been so many different situations where it's like how we um, how we grow up learning things, especially like in the U.S. We're used to someone teaching us, like telling us all the information that we're supposed to know. Where God is teaching us throughout our circumstances and our different situations. It's like, how do you really know God is there for you unless you're put in a position to where you really need God? And it's like I've learned to me more than that, more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, okay, God, when am I going to get a break? This thing, you know what I'm saying? Like my whole life has been hard. You know what I mean? And it's like I do believe in God, I do trust in God, but it's like, man, like when is it gonna just be like a point of like just I can relax and be at complete peace and joy. You know what I mean? Not going through a constant like battle. You know what I mean?
I think so.
It's like I know he's there. You know what I'm saying? I know he never leaves you, you know, but it's like man, you know, like in the Bible, they compare, you know, it says not to compare your life to anybody else's because, you know, but you look at some of your colleagues or you see people who they might be Christian or they may not be Christian, but they ain't going through nothing like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, like, I'm sitting over here being like faithful and trying to like do, you know what I mean? Live my life, you know, in righteousness, you know, and then whatever else is left, you know, God covers it. But it's just frustrating when, you know, you feel like everybody else is just doing whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like they doing
I've had
whatever,
that
and it's just
conversation so
like,
many times over the past couple of days, like with various friends.
yeah. I mean,
And
and it's like textbook, like, okay, like that person's doing whatever because the enemy is like, oh, they're not a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they're not going through nothing. But at the same time, it's like, yo, like, dang, can I get a break in this thing? Like, and it's not even just me.
mm-hmm.
It's my whole family that's having to go through this because, you know, my sister is not around.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's just like, yo, like, but for me, I feel like, yeah, it affects me, but I can't really be all focused on me because the rest of the family is, you know, impacted as well. So, yeah. But I'm not trying to make this whole
No,
podcast
you're
about
fine. No, because I actually like it just because I've been there so many like different times. It's almost like to me it's almost like God, I'm drowning, and it's like where are you to really like save me, everything
mm-hmm.
like that, and like to me it kind of brings on like the situation like with the grocery store like in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, well, this man has done an unimaginable thing to random black people and everything. But yet, like, why does he get to walk away peacefully in handcuffs and everything?
Mm-hmm.
But you have some people who have done nothing wrong at all are dead in graves now. So it's almost like the where is the peace in that? And it's kind of like to me, it's like hard to find.
And you know what's so crazy? It's like, as you say that, as crazy as it sounds, my first thought is at least they don't have to be here no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that is not, you know, the
No,
answer
I
to
mean
that.
it's to me it's
But that's just, I guess, it's
in
my.
in a weird way is of course if you're with God permanently, that's the best thing that can happen. No matter no matter how you get there. Of course, with people here on Earth and everything like that, it's tough. Just because it's still your loved ones, whether friends or family and everything. But at the same time, it's like that doesn't necessarily take like the the pain away from all that, because I'm still dealing with the pain even though they're not. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like I know that thought, like, well, at least they're not here no more. I know that that's not necessarily the answer, but that's the first thing that popped into my mind, like, But yeah, moving on. I don't want to kind of like make this whole thing about my situation. So
No, I mean, well, so I wouldn't say it's making like the whole thing about your situation, is because
sorry, I haven't spilled the water because the cat. Y'all seeing all my little imperfections right now.
What else was I gonna say? I don't know, like the whole thing screaming to me is really just like peace. And I know, like, for me, like when I was going through things, it's like it's always the same thing. It's like, why does it feel like I have like no peace? It's not because I know the situation is not going to change overnight. I mean, it could change overnight just because it's, of course, it's God. He can do anything. So it's almost like I have that cry, like God, like why don't you change things for me and everything? But then at the same time, it's like I learned that God's really trying to teach you something. At least I'm not saying you or anything like that. I'm just saying like with me and everything. So then it goes to like, well, what lesson have I not learned yet?
Exactly. That's the question. Like, well, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, like, like it's just like frustrating sometimes because it's like you just feel like you're constantly going through. It's like a freaking like a obstacle course. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, where is the end? Where is the end at? Like,
did I tell you about the last time I had car trouble?
Oh Lord. Yeah, where is the end for Don? So that's all he be having.
That was probably about like a month ago. And it was nerve wracking because, oh my God, I got a new car. Like, why am I still going through this? Like, again and again and again. Like, when is this going to end? And then it was almost like God was speaking to me saying, yeah, like, when are you just going to have peace, keep peace, like, no matter what the situation is? So that was really, like, for me, like, the lesson, just because peace should not be circumstantial. It's almost like if you have this, and then you get peace. If you have that, then you get peace. It's because I know that's how a lot of my life has really kind of been lived out. If I got this job, I'll be this way. Or if I had this, then I'll be this way. But then it's almost like if I don't have this, well, then I'm gonna be that way. So
I don't know. That's hard because it's like, if it's hot outside and you're sitting outside and you got no air conditioning, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that crazy thing that's happened when I was with my car when it was not working.
It's like that would be that's lovely to think of, but like, is it real? Is it realistic? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna go through life at peace. Be at peace all the time.
No, I think God knows that, but I think that's what He wants us to have. Because I look at, so I've been listening to like another podcast, and you've been going just from beginning of the Bible to just like chapter by chapter, well, not chapter by chapter, but like it's like story by story. And one of the questions they kind of ask is like, well, why did God choose Abraham to kind of partner with him? Pretty much like building like his people and everything. And that kind of got me too, because I was like, well, why did he choose Abraham? Because he could have chosen like a lot of people. And pretty much, like they kind of gave like a Hebraic like everything, and pretty much they was like, I guess they kind of got down to that Abraham was ultimately going to do the right thing. He was ultimately going to make like the faith move and everything. So say for instance, even if like with Sarah and everything like that, who he married and everything like that, they had, I guess, kind of brought up the whole point that he knew that Sarah could not have children before he even married her. And he had, like, of course, like first birthrights in his family, so he's supposed to pretty much carry on the legacy of his family now. But he chose to kind of do what was right, like by Sarah. by marrying her because I don't think at that point she didn't have anybody to like really help or support her.
Mhm.
So that's why he kind of chose like Abraham, and that's why he kind of gave like Abraham and Sarah that promise.
Mhm.
It's very very deep and everything like that, but it kind of gave like a different perspective and everything, and pretty much that regardless that Abraham was really just going to like trust God throughout it all. So even just as far as like with him like Isaac and everything like that, they were saying I guess the place where he was supposed to take Isaac to sacrifice
Mhm.
was really maybe like a half day trip, but took 3 days. Pretty much saying that he wanted to give God every chance to kind of stop him before he really had to kind of
How did they know
sacrifice.
this information? Because this is not in the Bible.
No, but the crazy thing is, so they're piecing everything like story by story, but then also like placement in the Bible too. Like
Probably
even
researching the geographic
yeah,
area and all of that.
it's very very deep. So even the story about how um remember like Hagar and Ishmael,
Mm-hmm.
how like it's like lined up directly right next to Abraham and Isaac. So
Mm-hmm.
they were placed like side by side for a reason and everything. So I'm like, I never like thought about that.
Yeah.
Because it was like, even if you just think of like the flow of the story, like Hagar and Ishmael doesn't fit in there like at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'll tell you about it and everything like that. But it's really just that they were saying Abraham was really going to ultimately do what was right. Of course, him trying to like do everything on his own by what really him and Sarah just trying to kind of continue God's promise on their own was not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, I think God had credited to Abraham as faith because he knew that he knew what he was trying to do pretty much. He wasn't trying to um, like accomplish that promise on his own. He just knew that how could this happen if Sarah can't get pregnant and everything. But yeah, it's interesting. But I just thought about that. I guess going back to what we are saying about, of course, it's not easy and everything like that. We're always not like the right decision, but I guess the lesson that God's continually trying to teach us is really the same thing. Like to me, like have the different what is it the fruits of the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So to have joy, to have everything, and I'm finding it the more I practice it, like the more like honestly like situations are hard to kind of deal with. Like even especially like the whole peace part, just because you never really want to like lose your peace, just
Right.
because that's when you're kind of putting yourself like in a bad spot just all around.
Right.
Like now you're leaving yourself open like up to the enemy because it could just be you lost your peace and everything like that. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Now you have attitude, and it's not even about the person who cut you off in traffic. It's really another situation that's weighing heavy on you. Now you're bringing into this,
Right.
and to me, that's what really kind of creates like the chaos.
Yeah, and I think for people who are in the ministry, it can be very hard because it'll be very hard to keep your peace when there are other people who are depending on you, and they're telling you like what's going on in their lives as they go through some terrible things. And it's like you're hearing those things constantly, or you're trying to help in a situation that seems like a huge mountain to that person, even to you, that can take away your peace. Like somebody can call you in the middle of the night and be like, yo, this is what's going on. And you could have been perfectly at peace,
Mm-hmm.
but because you were talking to them about something that was not a peaceful situation or something that was good, you could completely lose your peace, and now you feel some kind of way inside because it's like you may have given them your peace by reassuring them and saying this is what God says, we're going to help you through this, whatever. But because of the conversation and because of how heavy the burden was, or whatever, it just kind of takes away from your peace, and then you have to work on getting that peace back restored, or you have to ask God to restore that peace.
Yeah.
So it's hard to always be at peace all the time, and it's almost like you have to really um, guard it. You have to really like find ways to recoup it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to really pray about it because it's very hard to keep the peace at times.
Yeah, I remember because um, the last time I wouldn't say I didn't necessarily speak anything because I realized like your words do have power. But the last time I can say like it's probably like a major, yes, interruption like in my piece was a little situation like with me and my dad and everything, and it's pretty much came down to like how in my mind I'm thinking like why do you kind of see me as this person like, someone who's like ungrateful and everything, like I'm not understanding this when I'm just trying to be better and make better decisions and everything. But yeah, it's almost like you try to continue to talk to me as if I'm somebody else. And it's like, and it's crazy just because, especially like at church and friends and everything like that, they see me totally different. But again, it's like, it's the whole thing, like with your family and everything is, um, for some reason, family just kind of like strikes a different nerve with you and everything. So it's almost like, I'm already tied to you. So it's like, I can't let you go even if I wanted to. Like I can easily, say, well, this friendship is ending, everything like that. But relationship with family is just totally different, and it really disturbed my peace because I'm like, why does it like my own father kind of see me as, um, as some of the other people who choose to kind of see me as God's child and everything like that. So that really kind of disturbed my peace. So I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's like my life is really honestly better if I choose to do things like my way, and honestly, I guess like in kind of completely like eh, um ex my dad like out of my life and everything. But that's just like initial thoughts and everything like that. But I'm like that's not like my normal way of thinking and everything. So I can like after a while I kind of just said like I have peace about the situation. So let me honestly just kind of go back to God then. It's like seek counsel like from wise people about like the situation and everything.
Yeah, I think at times, not to cut you off, but I think at times it's very important to, just get space from people because people get on your nerves. You know what I'm saying? Especially like parents and stuff, like they feel like they know everything. And it's just like you don't know everything. And there's a lot that your children can teach you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's the case for everybody and at all times, but just like you're an adult and still growing, you're a parent, you're still growing, and you're still learning about parenthood. You know what I'm saying? Just like how I'm in healthcare, I don't know everything about healthcare, but every day that I go to work, you know what I'm saying? I'm still learning. Like I might be good at what I do, but I'm not an expert. You know what I'm saying? Like God is the expert. I mean, so I just kind of feel like when they start, when you have too much of that clashing going on, that's when it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you your space because I can't deal with you right now, and I'm trying not to cuss you out, and I'm trying to have the highest level of respect because you are my parent, and God says that I should respect you. But you know what I'm saying? Like we need some space. So yeah.
Because I guess to me that kind of leads me to thinking. I guess get back to the theme. It's like sometimes we are excellent like test takers, like when it comes to like when God is testing you. But then we're the like when it comes like on the opposite side, sometimes we may be like the worst test taker just because it's like we completely miss.
What's the opposite side?
To me, it's almost like it's pass or fail because I feel like we get tested quite a lot, but we never necessarily recognize like our wins and everything like that. But when we know we messed up, we know we messed up. Yeah,
That is true.
because I'm like it's really like I thought about that for a second. I was just gonna say we're just terrible test takers. I was like, no, it's been like humorous and everything like that sometimes, especially it could be somebody, bringing like their like bulk of their problems to you like in a rude way and everything. And you could just be having a lovely day. You're gonna say, I'm gonna make sure it stays that way. To me, that's a win. It's like you kept your peace. You turned your cheek, even though you kind of showed them a different side from what they really wanted back. Some people just want an argument and everything.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. this is so random, but I saw like a TikTok. It always comes up TikTok. I saw a TikTok and it was like with Black China and her mom, and they were in the kitchen. And Black China's mom was just on her. I don't really watch the Kardashians. I don't care about Black China and them. But it was on TikTok, like I said. So I just happened to scroll and see it. They were in the kitchen, and I guess her mom was just irritated for some reason, and Black China was just like, I don't want you. I think she was trying to say, I don't want you around or I sent my daughter away or something like that. And the mom's like, you sent her away for what? You don't want her to be around me? And she was like literally trying to like get Black China to like fight her. You know what I'm saying? And I was
People know
just
what they're
like,
doing.
and Black China, she held her peace. She just put her hand on the counter. She was talking. She wasn't even looking at her mom. Her mom was like over here, you know what I'm saying, egging her on, whatever. But it be like that sometimes. Like sometimes, like we find ourselves like being the parent and them being the child. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you said, you didn't pass the test.
Yeah.
You know. But sometimes I don't know how to bring that together. But I guess if you haven't really failed miserably, you know what I mean, then maybe you should think positive about, like just knowing that, okay, I haven't messed up in a minute, so I must be on the right track. I must be passing the test or something like that.
Yeah. Until God brings something in your life that you have never dealt with before.
Right.
That's when it's like, I guess, like, to me, like, how I look at it now, it's like the mature thing is a thing. Okay, God, what do you want me to learn now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I try to do now.
I don't want to learn nothing else. I'm done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not because, like, really, what I'm really trying to hold on to is, um, like, really, like, God, what do you want me to like to learn? Like, what haven't I learned yet? I guess, like, when I come down, um, when I can get back to like a level of peace, because like when my peace is disturbed, it's almost like a bell ring. Like I just need it I need to calm down for a second. So
it's amazing how, like you said, until God brings something your way you've never dealt with before. But sometimes it can be somebody or something that you have dealt with before. And it can take you from 0 to 100 real fast. Like without any hesitation. Like that person or that situation is like a trigger. And it can go out, it can pop off at any moment. So yeah. It
yeah,
just depends. But it's unfortunate. I think that it's sad that you feel that way about your dad feelings towards you. You know what I mean? Like you as a child, you want your parents to accept you and to really love you and appreciate you for who you are because you are an extension of them. And I'm pretty sure he does, but some people just they don't. They're so into their thinking and how they feel that they don't take the time to like really like think about how it feels to be in your shoes, or they don't even acknowledge the stuff that you are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that they see that you are doing weigh less to them than the things that they think you should be doing. So
even then, it's like honestly that's exactly how I can kind of feel sometimes. But then I know a lot of people may not like this, but it's even made me to be like more like forgiving. Just because, like, I know, like, not everyone is going to see me, I guess, how God sees me, or let alone try. But then, like, on the opposite side, it's like, I'm really, like, asking God, like, help me to see them how you see them. Like, no matter, like, what they've done. Like, there's plenty of people who I think have wronged me and everything like that. But it's like, okay, well, God, what do you see? Because I've been in their shoes, too. I think that at least one time we've been the villain in someone else's story.
That's
So
true.
it's like, even for me, it's like I don't want to be the villain in anyone else's story anymore.
Right.
So like, help me to just honestly just be better.
Right.
Like that's all I can really kind of hope for, because like I can't hope to be the best to everyone all the time, just because I am imperfect. I'm not going to be perfect and everything like that. But let me put my trust in the person who is perfect.
Yeah.
So even just as far as um, like how Jesus like saw people, like say for instance, like with Mary and everything like that.
Mhm.
Well, where we may see, a sinner, God may see a disciple. So it's all these like different things, but it's like, I guess, like for me, it's like I'm trying to grow into that, and I know it's gonna take time. I know I'm not gonna be perfect day one and everything like that, but you know, let me kind of trust more in God. Like let Him give me like dark directions and everything, because me trying to do things on my own hasn't really quite worked. So
Yeah. I mean, I just think that, I mean, we can't do anything on our own. You know what I mean? Like, we think, yeah, look, I used to be married to somebody who just, I thought, because
I keep forgetting.
he was such a intellectual person.
Uh-huh.
And so I would just let him kind of intellectualize. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like he would challenge like why I felt the way I feel. It's like, but then I would be like, yo, he has a point. Like why do I, feel like this? Maybe he is right. You know what I'm saying? But even then it's like now, on the opposite side of that relationship,
Mhm.
uh, I realized he didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't know anything. And it's like, yeah, you may be intelligent. You may know a whole lot. You may have traveled the world. You may know a lot of people. You may be astute. You may be erudite. You
Mhm.
may know so many
Everything.
erudite. Have a lot of book knowledge. You may like hang around the smartest people in the world, but you are still stupid. Like we are all stupid. I'm just saying, we all dumb. We don't know nothing. You know what I mean? And you can just tell, like, look at all the conspiracy theories we got. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, some of it might be true, but half of us, we don't even know what's true anymore. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, we can't do anything without God. We can't even, like, wake up and go outside without knowing what's going to happen next. So, I mean, you need God. Like,
You know what's funny too is like, especially like with, I don't try to like over intellectualize or anything like that. But one thing is like, I realize I don't argue like with people anymore. I'm like, it's pointless, because I'm like, either they could be wrong, I could be wrong, we both could be right, or we both could be wrong. So it's like, still, it's pointless then. So then just let me like let see like how God is really going to direct the story and everything.
I think sometimes a lot of the reason why people argue is because they feel a certain way because of something else. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
I can say mine. I just
it
want to
could
be right.
be related to the
Mhm.
topic that they're arguing about, but because of their experiences in life and stuff like that, a lot of times they're just they feel passionately about what they're speaking on.
Yeah.
So anytime that I find myself arguing with someone, I have to get down to the root of what we really talking about, Like why like I asked them, well, why da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And then once I hear what they're saying, then I'm like, okay, well I see what you're saying. But, you know, they could have went about it this way or whatever the case is. But I try not to argue
I
either.
promise you, that's what I think a lot of times, especially when I feel like I'm getting like a little pushback or something I could have said, or like what happened. I'm like, they're really passionate about this. But then it's
And then
like,
it's the turn off
yeah,
because it's like if you so passionate about this, I'm just gonna let you be passionate and I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna chill because yeah,
because I'll be quick to
I
get
need to save
somebody.
my energy.
Amen.
It's too much going on
God
in the
bless you.
world.
That's
I'm 35 years old. I can't be out here just wasting my energy on
so I
stuff.
really, I really just don't have the right. I don't have the time or the energy anymore
Yeah,
to kind of go back and forth. It's like, okay,
yeah.
that's what I do. I may sound a little condescending in that, okay, sometimes, and people can pick up on it. Still, it's
And sometimes you can realize that you're wrong about something. Like,
exactly.
I was wrong. I was wrong about that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, okay, well.
And like for me, it's like I'm man enough to admit like when I'm wrong too. I feel like it needs to be said too. But then it's almost like it's kind of hard because I know some people just they get like real big headed.
See them, I really wouldn't be talking to that person very, very often, anyways. So yeah, I'd be like, oh, that's so and so. Let me just go the other way because they think they all that, they know everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So one last thing before we get off here, because I know you got a meeting in a few minutes. You know, if y'all are wondering who my sister is, the one that's missing, her name is Brianna Williams. Her Instagram page is admire_Bree, ADMIRE_BRI. And she hasn't been on social media. She hasn't, you know, answered her phone. She has not. We don't know where she is, y'all. So I don't even know what. I mean, I know half the people that's listening don't know her either, but at least y'all put a face to the name and who I'm talking about, and just pray for her. You know, pray for her
recovery.
To be safe. It's a lot of things going on in this world, so just pray for my sister.
And if they do like either see of her like online or honestly, hopefully better see her in person, how should they contact you?
Well, y'all have my Instagram. Y'all can contact me through the Collective Podcast. DM me. I have two Instagrams. One is Reflected Glory by Tierra. The other one is I am Tierra _I am Tierra. So, but the Collective Podcast is perfectly fine with me. So yeah.
God's got her. That's all. So that's all we can really trust in. God's got her.
Yeah. So, but anyways.
That's all the closing remarks I had.
All right, y'all be blessed.
Have
Stay
a good
there.
Until next time.
Check on your strong friends.
Yes, please.
Bye, y'all.